Hey, it's Dave from Chaos Guitars. Today we are unboxing a Glarry Telecaster that I picked up. I picked it up really cheap. I ended up getting it for like right around $80. I think normally they're 89 bucks. This is how I received it for the most part. I took it out of the box, obviously, to make this a little quicker, a little easier, a little less awkward on camera. But this is pretty much the box it came in. Nice sturdy box. It's got their logo on it. I like it because it's not this huge box. It's not one of those triangular boxes where there's not much padding around the headstock. They always kind of worry me. But it's a good sturdy box. Not that that means a whole lot, but when you're shipping a guitar, it kind of does. So, good for them with that. This, I really do like. Most of the time you get a guitar, it's in one of those kind of triangular boxes. They throw a couple little pieces of styrofoam in there. They wrap the guitar in some of this same stuff. But that's it. This whole thing is styrofoam. And it's made to fit the shape of the guitar, which I think is brilliant. You can see there's a couple chunks missing from when it was pulled out of the box. But thank God for this, because it's the headstock end. I didn't have to worry about the headstock being batted around. On one of those triangular boxes, I would have had an inch or two at the headstock, and that may have been damaged. So I really do like the way they're doing this so far. Let's see what we got. We got the typical bag they come in, which never, as you can see, never stays together. I can tell you right off the bat, it's light. I'm assuming it's basswood, which is what most of these are made out of, the cheaper guitars. I don't have an issue with that, not at all. It's a light wood. You know, I'm getting up there in age. I got a bad back. I actually like this. The finish looks really nice. Let's see what else we got so I can get rid of this styrofoam. Comes with a gig bag. You know, look, it's nothing great. There's no padding or anything, but you're a step above nothing, which is great. It'll keep the dust off. It'll keep the dirt off. It makes it a little easier to carry around. So great, you get a bag with it, which is better than nothing. So I'm not going to fault them for that. This I kind of like. Now, you see this a lot with cheaper guitars, and I don't understand why more expensive guitars don't do this. Just maybe upgrade a little bit. You get a cable, you get the Allen key to adjust the truss rod. Now, I'm not one to tell people to just start adjusting their truss rod, because you never want to just start going willy-nilly with that. But if you know a little bit about what you're doing, they give you the tool to do it. They give you a small, cheap cable, nothing great, a cheap strap, and a pick. I actually love this. We do these reviews for cheap guitars because I want something that when a kid says, hey, maybe I want to learn, parents can go out and buy something for under $200 and get their kids started. Now with this, for this and a small amp, you can get all this for under $200. I think this is awesome. And yeah, you're gonna want to upgrade this stuff, the strap, the cable. You're gonna want better in the future. But this gives you a couple months of playtime, because let's face it, we were all there when we started, and we either kept going or we got a month into it and said, you know what, like I did, I'm sick and tired of Mary Had a Little Lamb. I don't want to do this anymore. So this is why I kind of like this stuff, the cheaper stuff. Looking at it, I'm not a huge Tele guy. I've owned a couple over the years. I've owned some real good ones. I've owned some crappy ones. Teles just aren't my thing, really. I get it. I understand them. I respect them. Not completely my thing. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, well, this isn't quite where it should be. This isn't just like You know, the original, I don't care about any of that. The kid who's getting this to learn doesn't care about any of that. He wants a guitar that maybe looks like so-and-so's from whatever band because that looks cool. And that's what he wants to start to learn with. So what I am going to give you are the things that might be crucial for somebody who's beginning to learn. For instance, on cheap guitars, fret ends are almost always an issue. There's always sharp ones. You start learning how to play, you start learning where your fingers go and everything. That's hard enough for somebody that's new. You start getting sharp fret ends in there, and I'm kind of surprised because I don't feel too many of them. There's one or two, maybe three, and they're mid-neck, which is surprising. You see them down the bottom a lot. These feel really good. The reason some of these guitars are so cheap is because none of the neck work is done. It's basically an unfinished neck. They throw frets in it. They, you know, cut them to the right size, and that's about it. For me, that's great because I get a guitar cheap. I do all the neck work on them because I love doing that stuff, and I get a great neck when I'm done. But for your average person, when you start cutting your fingers or scratching your fingers up trying to just play a guitar, not good. This one is really good. I'm surprised. I got 2, maybe 3 that need to be done, and even they're not bad. So they did great on that. The nut seems pretty flush. A lot of times the nuts will be shifted down or up. A lot of times I notice they must put the nut on before whatever glue or whatever they use dry and string it up because it shifts. This one's pretty good. Yeah, seems pretty flush. Tuners, they're going to be cheap, unbranded tuners. They always are. You know, you can't put Grovers or anything else on here for the price. But I don't necessarily have a problem with that. Some of the unbranded tuners, these all feel good. Some of them will get loose and wobbly and whatnot right off the bat, or they kind of get like the gears will feel like they're gritty. These feel good. They all feel tight. They seem to have a pretty decent gear ratio on them. They feel good. I'm impressed with the tuners. What else is always a problem? The output. Loose a lot of times. This one's not. All the hardware, all the screws, everything is flush where it should be. If you look on the screws on the back of the tuners a lot of time, you'll find some that are sticking up. These are all good. Volume and tone, all tight. Switch is tight and moves pretty solidly. Bridge looks good. Pickups are actually adjusted pretty well. Like I said, this neck pickup is going to be an issue because it's in there so tight. But I kind of already knew about that. Strap buttons is another one. I can't tell you how many times I get guitars, even good name brand guitars that I spend a good amount of money on. And the first thing out, you go to put a strap on it and the button spins. These are tight. I can't, other than these couple frets, which I was really expecting more for an $80 guitar, I really am surprised. It has a neck that kind of feels unfinished in the back, which doesn't surprise me. I like when I get a neck like that because the first thing I'll do is I'll put what I call a wood conditioner on it. I don't like coated necks. I don't like painted necks. They get sticky. So I take any bolt-on I have, I'll take the neck down to bare wood, and then I just put a conditioner or an oil on it. And it gives it a nice smooth feel. It doesn't get sticky or anything like that. So I'm happy that it's like this because I would have done that anyway. It kind of speeds along my process of doing that. So I think for the most part, it's worth every penny so far. Now, we're going to see what it sounds like. So that'll be the next step in the video. Well, I'm going to finish up here, and then we'll hook it up and plug it into one of these amps, and we'll get some sound out of it, some different sounds, and I'll record some tracks or whatever, just so you can hear it. And we'll give it a listen, see what it sounds like. If it sounds an eighth of as good as it looks, then we got something worth getting here. So I'm really happy with this. So stay tuned, and we'll get to see what it sounds like.
Nice. I don't have many complaints about this other than intonation, and that can be easily done by yourself or a trained professional. These knobs are good. They got some heft to them. This actually matters if you listen to the difference. Listen to all those tonal differences. You can go from twangy Zappa all the way to like Beatles, like super bass driven. 10 out of 10.